I've always wondered what the cheapest I could build a PC for, but today I found out with this 10p PC build. The story of this PC begins when I found an old office PC that my local church was giving away for free, as long as whoever took it promised to destroy the hard drive that was inside. The specs of it were a complete mystery to me, until I picked it up and found it to be an old Dell Dimension pre-built, hailing from 2004. Not a great start in terms of spec, but at least it had all the major components. Upon further inspection of the system, I found that the specs inside would not be all that useful for achieving the goal I had set of playing CSGO at a playable frame rate. Featuring a single-core Pentium 4 640, a measly 512MB of RAM, and the Radeon X 8800 XT GPU. Poor specs aside, not all was at a loss. Despite the case being incredibly proprietary and not supporting a standard motherboard, the 450W power supply, as far as I could tell, was standard ATX, so I ripped it out of the system, as the unit found in pre-builds are usually pretty reliable, and it already has 6-pin PCIe power connector for our GPU. Speaking of which, this is where our first and only actual purchase comes in. For just 10 pence, I got a GeForce AC800 GT off a guy on Facebook who was just trying to get rid of it. This card was perfect for this PC, featuring 112 CUDA cores, 56 TMUs, and 512MB of GDDR3 memory, more than surpassing the CSGO recommended requirements. This card in particular also only has one 6-pin supplementary power connector, a perfect match for our Dell PSU. The next part of our system also hails from Facebook Marketplace, when I found somebody giving away a Socket 775 motherboard, CPU, cooler and RAM combo, so I hopped on my bike and went to get it. The combo consisted of a Pentium E5200, a dual-core from 2008, which is very comparable to the recommended Core 2 Duo E6600, 2GB of DDR3 and a random HP motherboard with a cooler. Whilst not quite meeting the recommended minimum requirements for CSGO, this was a damn sight closer than the Pentium 4 in the original system. The final part of the puzzle was finding a storage drive. Whilst we could have just used the hard drive from the Dell, I promised I would destroy it and I gotta stick to my word. So that was out of the picture. Thankfully, I was in a local charity shop when I saw an old Sky TV box that was being thrown out. I remembered that some of them have normal PC hard drives in them, so I asked if I could take it with me, and they said sure. When I got home, the first thing I did was crack it open, and sure enough, there was a standard SATA 500GB hard drive, and with that, I had collected all the pieces of the 10 pence gaming PC. All that was left to do was assemble it in the case, aka an old Walker's Crisp box. After a different sort of build process, I set off to see if my creation would work, and after only plugging in the power supply, it instantly spun to life, and even outputted to the display. Unfortunately, once in the BIOS, it displayed a fan error and would hang and wouldn't move. Fortunately, it was resolved by just replacing the fan temporarily and even fixed itself afterwards. After I resolved this issue, I then plugged in my Windows 10 USB installer and proceeded to install Windows. To start off with our benchmarks, let's look at the general usability of the system. The hard drive is incredibly slow, taking a long time to boot up and even longer to load up Windows animations in general. Opening the start menu is incredibly sloppy, and opening applications is just generally annoying because I'm not sure if I've actually opened them or it's just frozen. When it came to browsing the web, it was pretty decent, taking a while to load some websites, but doing just fine for googling the odd thing. YouTube, on the other hand, was a bit of a slower mess. Loading the homepage took a while, but 720p YouTube was usable. Next came one of the longest benchmarks I ran. It was downloading CSGO. Normally on my internet, it should not take an hour and a half to download a 30GB game. But the combination of the slow CPU and the hard drive really crippled the performance here. Next came actually running CSGO. I tested it at a lot of different resolutions to try and level out that CPU bottleneck, but I found that the lowest 16:9 resolution of 1156p was the best I could get. On the community benchmark map, it achieved an average of 18 FPS at 1156p, all low settings, and that's even with the in-game modifiers in the terminal that map has. When it came to regular gameplay, I think it got a lot better, but it really struggled to actually get into main games. I only managed to get into the training grounds, but I kind of gave up after a while. Next up was something I didn't expect to perform so well. We have Super Auto at 900p on the low preset, achieving an average of around 58 FPS. This is incredibly good, and it continued out multiple levels. Like, much more playable than I would have ever expected for a game of this modern age on this older system. Next up, we have something more in this system's speed. Half-Life 2, releasing in 2004, would have been perfect to play on this PC when it was still relevant. And as we can see, on 1080p on the high settings, it achieved an incredible average of around 120 FPS, which fluctuated down to like 80 sometimes, but incredibly consistent and rock solid. I would be happy to play this game on this system. In a surprise to absolutely no one, Factorio ran perfectly fine on this system. Granted, I didn't test the later game thing, but from the early testing I did, it seemed to run fine. I'm sure you'd get slowed down later on, but you get slowed down on any system, so can't really complain. Now, I know what you're all saying. You should have used Windows 7. Why didn't you use Windows 7? Windows 7 would have given way more performance. Well, I did try to install Windows 7, except it didn't seem to like my USB key with it on, and I didn't feel like getting a DVD drive out, so Windows 10 is all we've got. So do I think this is actually a good system for you to go out and build? Not really. It's impractical, it's unsafe, and it's basically a time bomb for when that hard drive's going to go. As well as being incredibly CPU and RAM bottlenecked, it also just isn't that good performance even if you did get a better CPU. The parts are aging and you can really feel it, especially since the last driver update was in 2015. 2015! That's when my laptop came out. Despite this, the performance we did see from it was quite impressive for the 13-year-old device it is. Or however old. 15? 16? I can't. 16 years old, yeah, I think it's 16 years old. That's insane. I can't believe it. I know I'm amazed by it. But it's not amazing. If you only have 10p and you really want to play Half-Life 2, I mean, I guess it is a way, but don't hedge your bets on finding deals like I did. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe and stick around to the next one. Ciao!